Want a soar? Get a mentor. Hey, it's Nina Carmichael, and we make these videos because you're probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more. And you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael, and Evan's best advice on how to beat the habits of procrastination. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1, find a way.
There are 2 reasons why you're procrastinating. You don't want to do it, or you're scared to do it. If you don't want to do it, then you might have to right now, but long term, you have to find a way out. If you're scared to do it, then you have to do it because you can't teach yourself that when you come up against something scary, you back down and play small. Either way, the answer is action. You move away from it or you move into it, but you have to move. The best way to build this muscle is to recognize that you are in fact building a muscle, that it's the daily practice, repetition. It's not about what you do in these one-off moments, it's what are you doing every single day. You are procrastinating, I'm procrastinating every single day, and it's trying to catch those moments, understand if you're not doing it because you don't want to do it really, this is not an expression of you and you need to find a way to get rid of it, or you're just afraid to do it. So for example, for me, I always procrastinate a little bit, and I'm slowly getting better at this before I make these videos. It's not that I don't want to do it, I want to do it. I love doing these. This is the best of me. I've made 6,000, 7,000, I don't know how many videos across all my channels now. A lot of videos. I've made a lot of videos and I still love it. It's still great. Like the feeling that even though I'm just talking to a camera here in my office in Toronto, Canada, you're watching from somewhere else around the world, and this message is hopefully having an impact. And if it's not this one, it's my next one. If it's not that next one, it's the next one afterwards, to slowly shift you forward and helping you make breakthroughs and growth in your business or life. That's awesome. Like being able to wake up and know that the work that you do matters to people, I think is the ultimate juice of life. But I'm always afraid because I want this to be the best day. I want this video, right? I put the pressure on myself that this video should be my best video. It's got to be better than it was last week and better than it was the week before. And I want this video to be the one that blows everything up, right? Even though I've had success and done well and, you know, YouTube buttons and all that stuff, it's more, right? I want to solve the world's biggest problem. I'm never going to do that. And I wake up every day trying to do that. And so put the pressure on myself to say, this day has to count. This day has to matter. This video recording needs to mean something to people. And so that's scary. That's really scary. And I don't want to get in front of the camera and disappoint you, disappoint myself. I don't want to disappoint. And so because I'm afraid of it, I procrastinate. And I'll check my DMs on Instagram and I'll review what I did last week. And it's easy to tell myself, this is work. I'm not just playing a game. I'm messaging people, you know, I'm researching, but really it's just, I'm afraid to get in front of the camera and make my video because I don't want to disappoint people. I want this to be the best one I've ever done. And as soon as I catch it, then I do it. And this is the trick. Like when you catch it, you do it. Instead of then spending another half an hour, another hour responding to DMs and delaying and putting it off, and then it becomes too late to do it. You teach yourself, I do scary things. Let's go. And so I try to catch it on a daily basis because you have those chances every single day. I'm still going to procrastinate probably on 10 more things today. And most things you won't even catch. You just find a really smart reason why you can't do something. But at the end of the day, if you really examined it and dug deep, you'd find, you know what, I could have done it. I was just too afraid to do it. Or I didn't want to do it. And so learning to catch those things, not being hard on yourself when you don't, but learning to catch those things. And then when you do catch it, teaching yourself to move, to act, either get rid of it and don't touch it again, hand it off, eliminate it, automate it, delegate it, or jump into it because you do scary things. Okay, how do we do it? My 3-step recipe to get out of procrastination. Let's go. Step number 1 is identify what are you procrastinating on right now? What can you actually catch? Again, there's going to be 100 things that you will be procrastinating on that you may not even catch. But what's one thing? As I'm saying these words, what's popping into your mind right now of something that you know you need to do that's been on your list for a little bit that you just haven't executed on yet because you're afraid to do it? What is that one thing? Just pick one. Number 2, what's the reason? Why are you procrastinating on it? What is the honest truth, right? Don't come up with some excuse, because you can come up with a really smart reason because you're a smart person. You're not going to believe a stupid reason, right? You're a smart person, so you're going to come up with a really smart reason why you can't be doing that thing. But really deep down underneath, again, it's one of the 2 reasons, real reasons. You don't want to do it, or you're afraid to do it. What's the reason for that number 1 thing you picked? What's the actual reason why you're not taking action on it? And then step number 3 is decide. Will you move away from it, or will you move into it? You just decide, and you do something about it today.
Rule number 2, think big, start small.
I think it's really important for entrepreneurs to think big and act small. Think big, it's your big mission, your big vision, where you see yourself going, the impact you want to make on the world, that 5-year, 20-year, 100-year vision, like the change that you want to make in the world, right? What does that look like? That big picture, it's great. It's what entrepreneurs generally are good at. We're the dreamers, so it's awesome. Think big. And act small. Tiny step. Make a phone call, send an email, book an appointment, go to a conference, read a book, something. Because here's what ends up happening to so many people. So many entrepreneurs get stuck in this dreamland, right? We're just constantly dreaming, and then we think about our idea, and then it could take a lot of different turns, right? And you wake up the next day like, oh, that idea I had yesterday was great, but I could add this to it, and then it could become here, and what you do is you keep adding to it, and it becomes this ginormous monster that then you can never actually get started on, because to do it, to build this, to be way up here, you need venture capital funding, and you need a team, and you need all these resources, and you need blah, 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 blah. And then because it becomes this impossible, huge, perfect project, you don't do anything about it. You just sit on it. And that kills so many entrepreneurs, where it's great to have that big thinking, but you gotta do something. You gotta take action, even in the smallest way. Take action right away. And this is what I try to do every time I come up with a new idea. I get a new idea. I want to start a YouTube channel. I want to, buy a dance company. Whatever it is that you want to do, as soon as I've decided that this is what I want to do, I find a way to test, to start small. Make one video. Make one video. Like, you want to start a YouTube channel, you decided, great. Don't worry about the camera, don't worry about the lights, don't worry about the gear, don't worry about the editor, don't worry about anything. Take your phone and start filming. Do something. Film your first video. It's going to suck. That's okay. Expect it to suck. And then make one tomorrow, and make one the next day, make one the next day, right? Thinking big, this is still where I'm going. I know the vision I have. I know the kind of company I want to build, but do something every single day. Don't let that perfection of an ideal business prevent you from doing something, because no matter what you start with, it will not be perfect, and that's okay. It's just a constant and daily improvement to get better and better and better and better.
Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, I've created a special free program called 254, because the science says that it takes up to 254 days of consecutive action to build a habit. So what I'm going to do is send you an unlisted video to your email every day for 254 days for free to help your confidence and self-belief shift forward. The link to join is in the description below.
So I highly recommend that you print off 20 to 30 copies of your book before it goes to final print, and just get feedback from people who are inside your target market and outside, just to get tips, suggestions.
And what you need to do is inoculate yourself against the judgment and learn to take action on your ideas, because the alternative is a life filled with regret.
Surround yourself with greatness. If you want to be more confident, you need to surround yourself with things that make you feel confident.
Rule number 3, don't quit.
If you want to level up your life, follow this rule. Don't quit in the moment. If you're feeling frustrated, don't cheat on your diet today. If you're feeling stuck, don't quit on your responsibilities today. If you're feeling tired, don't quit on your workout today. If you're consistently feeling tired, then you need to fix your life. You need to change your schedule. You can change your plan for tomorrow, but don't quit on today just because it got hard. So I've recently started to feel better from breaking my neck a year and a half ago. I haven't been able to work out. It's caused me a lot of physical pain, and I'm starting to finally feel better. Hooray, that I can actually do stuff. And so I said, okay, this is great. I'm going to start running. I'm going to run every day. I'm going to do my 30 minutes every day, go around let's go. I'm ready. And so I wake up Monday morning, and I go. I do my 30 minutes. Awesome. Shower. Tuesday morning, wake up, do it again. Wednesday morning, wake up, do it again, no problem. And then Thursday, I wake up and my calves are really burning. My legs are burning. They're not used to the level of activity yet. And so this is one of those moments. This is one of those moments where it's more difficult. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was a lot easier. Thursday was difficult. It's hard. I don't have the energy. I don't want to hurt myself, but I also don't want to quit. This is where we often give ourselves a break. Right? We give ourselves a break to say, oh, it's okay. You did 3 days in a row. That's way better than what you've done the past year and a half. That's awesome. You're starting it. Your body can't handle it. So you should take a break. And then what often happens is the next day you don't get up and do it again. And so what I did was I'm still going to go do my run, but I'm going to do the best that I can. This is where self-esteem comes from. It's like, did you do the best that you could? And it doesn't mean you go full out. Right? I'm not going to hit the same time that I did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But the answer isn't 0. You don't want to teach yourself that the answer is, I'm not going to show up when it gets difficult. That's why you stop habits. That's why you lose self-esteem. That's where you lose the self-respect and self-credibility, because you said you were going to do something and you didn't do it. So now you don't believe yourself the next time you say you're going to do something. So what I did was I still went and did it, and I walked and ran for half of it, right? Like I ran, and then when my legs got tight, I walked, and then I ran a little bit more, and then I walked. And in the last part, I mostly just walked, which was harder to do than all of my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday walk. My result was worse, right? It took me longer to do it. I'm sure I didn't get as much health benefits. I'm sure I didn't burn as many calories as I did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's my worst time, but my effort was higher than Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because it was harder to do that. My self-love, my self-congratulations. When I had to pick, when you had that choice, this is the critical moment that happens so often in our lives. You're up against that juncture. It's hard. There's some external factor that's come in or some internal factor that's risen up. It's harder than it should be. It's harder than it usually was. What do? Do you give yourself the break, or do you show up? And what I want for me, for you, I think it was what missing in most of the world, is you being proud of your effort on a daily basis. That if you're up against that barrier, do you decide to quit or give it your best effort? And that's where the next level of your life exists, on showing up when it's hard, when normally you would quit. Okay, so how can we make ourselves proud? How can we not quit in the moment? I'm gonna give you 3 steps to follow. Let's go. Step number 1 is what I call move the break line. You want to slowly move the line forward of where you give yourself a break. Think about the habits that you're doing that are hard, that are difficult, that you've grown a little bit in, that maybe become a little bit easy for you. But think about, when do you give yourself a break? At what point do you give yourself a break where you said, okay, I've done enough? And then just moving that a little bit more slowly, right? You're doing 1 extra set, or 1 extra, heavier weight, or a little bit longer on the run, or 1 extra video to make for your channel, or 1 extra phone call to make. Like, move the line a little bit forward of where you would normally give yourself a break to create a new standard for yourself. Move the break line. Step number 2 is follow through on the promises you set for yourself. So you want to be very careful around what you say you're going to do to yourself, because you don't want to teach yourself, which is what most of the world has done. Most of the world has taught themselves that you set a goal and you don't follow through. How many people set a New Year's resolution and 2 weeks later it's gone, right? We do this constantly. We set goals for ourselves and then we don't follow through. What ends up happening is your brain now doesn't trust you. You don't trust yourself, because the next time you set a goal, it's like, he's not going to do that. She's not going to do that. Did you follow through on the last 200 things you said you were going to do? No. So what makes you think you're going to do this? This isn't even other people telling you. It's you telling yourself. It's you no longer believing yourself. You might believe it in the moment, the day of, awesome, but then a day later, a week later, 2 weeks later, you're not going to stay consistent on this, because you don't stay consistent on the other things. So you have to be very careful of what you say you're going to do. What are you going to do? And then whatever you say you're going to do, you have to do it. You have to show up no matter what, even just to show yourself what you're capable of. That run, that extra run that I did, that was half walking, half running, even though it was weaker performance, lower results. That's the thing that made me feel great about myself, because I showed up when it got difficult, because I stayed consistent with what I said I was going to do. So you have to keep your promises to yourself. When you say you're going to do something, you show up. And then step number 3 is make a better plan for tomorrow. In the moment, you're not allowed to change anything. You're starving, you're super hungry, you said you're going to do a fast, you do the fast. Unless you're like close to passing out, you're going to do the fast. You stick on it. Being hungry is not a good enough reason. You said you're going to make YouTube videos, now you're super nervous, doesn't count. You have to make the videos. You said you were going to do it. You can make a better plan for tomorrow, but in the moment, you are not allowed to quit on the things that you said you were going to do.
Rule number 4, do hard things.
Self-love comes from doing hard things. If you do something when it's easy and you win, you might post about it on Instagram, but you know it's a fake win because it was easy. It doesn't count until it's hard. It doesn't count until it's difficult. And when you do it and it's difficult and you overcome, that's when you start to love yourself more. So the next time you're struggling with something difficult, you can try the 5-second rule, or you can try this. Tell yourself that you do difficult things, and then go do it, and then celebrate it. So right now I'm doing my Flex the X 18-day challenge, and I've got this calendar that I use for myself where Flex the X means every day you put the X on your calendar. And 18 days, why? Because the minimum number of consecutive days for a habit to form is 18 days. The average is 66, it takes up to 254, but the minimum number is 18 days. So I made this Flex the X calendar, and every day that I take on that challenge, I put an X. So I'm right now just starting my 18-day keto challenge. Keto only. This is hard for me. This is rough because I've been keto, but Saturday has always been my off day, my cheat day, my reward day, whatever you want to call it, where I eat butter tarts. My mouth is watering. Doritos, poutine, you know, all the good pizza, all the good stuff that I am not allowed to have on the keto diet. And so for 18 days, I'm doing it. Now I'm only 2 days in, and it's not quite Saturday yet. But in my head, I said, I'm gonna do this for 18 days. And the first thing that came back was, that's gonna be hard. Well, you know what? I do hard things. Evan Carmichael does difficult things. That's not a good enough excuse for not to take action and move forward. And so I'm doing it. You can join me on your own Flex the X journey, but I'm going on my 18-day keto challenge, and I'll get through it. And then I'll love myself more because it'll be difficult. Because to do it for 1 day now, for me, it's not difficult. When I first started, the idea of doing all keto and the idea of fasting and not eating calories until 6 o'clock at night, that sounded crazy. Like, I can't do that. And so because it sounded crazy, and I had to go off and do it to show myself, because I do difficult things. You do difficult things. And so whether it's an 18-day keto challenge or a 3-day whatever else challenge that you want to do, you start to teach yourself that you do difficult things. I'm going to give you a 3-step process that I think will help you. Step number 1 is watch your language. Your language is really important. The language that you speak not just to other people, but to yourself. Yourself. What's the reason that you're not doing the thing that is difficult? What's the reason that you're not doing the thing you want to do? What's the reason? You want to be X. You want to be doing Y. What is that thing you want to do? And then what's the voice in your head? What comes back? Why are you not doing it? For a lot of people, it's either fear or it's hard. Those are not acceptable reasons. Watch your language. If you're ever thinking about an idea and the first thing that comes back is, well, it's hard. Okay, great. I do hard things. It's difficult. Yeah, I do difficult things. It's scary. Great. You do scary things. I'm afraid. Awesome. You do things you're afraid of. It starts to eliminate the excuses. You can come up with all these reasons as to why you can't do it and why the timing is not right now, but if you get underneath it, what's the real reason? It's either because you're afraid or because you think it's too difficult. And you need to attack those things. I think you need to attack those things. I think that's how you actually grow to the next level. I think that's actually how you start to love yourself more. Is by doing difficult things, by doing scary things. You are the kind of person who does difficult and scary things. Now, I'm not suggesting you jump out of an airplane with no parachute. Don't be reckless, don't be crazy. But most of the things on your list, the things that you want to do, aren't like that. You're afraid of doing something because you don't know how to do it. You're afraid of doing something because you're worried that you might fail and somebody might see you. You're afraid of doing something because you might let yourself down. And so you stay where you are. And if you want to get through the next level, it's understanding that you are the kind of person who does difficult and scary things. And so watch your language. When you hear yourself actually talking out loud to somebody else, if somebody's asking, hey, why are you not doing this thing? You are not allowed to say it's because it's hard. It's because as soon as you catch that, say, nope, now I have to do it. And then when you're talking to yourself, go take the mirror test. Go look in the mirror and ask yourself, why am I not hitting my goals? Why am I not more successful? Because what? That's the story. That's the story that you need to eliminate. The answer that comes back that you're thinking, that you're telling yourself, that's the story that you need to eliminate. And replace it with a new one, that you do difficult and scary things. Step number 2 is tell yourself this is just a warm-up. Whenever I'm in a situation that I'm feeling overwhelmed, that it's too much, that I'm at my max, I can't do anymore, this little trick, I'll tell myself this is just a warm-up. This is just a warm-up, and it works just as well in physical things. So if you're lifting weights or if you're running and you feel like you're out, you tell yourself this is just a warm-up. And what it does is it allows you to do a couple more. It allows you to go for another 30 seconds, another 60 seconds, another couple minutes by telling yourself this is just a warm-up. And it applies in business too. It applies in mental exercises too. When you feel spent, when you feel like you can't go anymore, when you feel like you've given it everything you can, you tell yourself this is just a warm-up. Because if the thing that feels overwhelming right now, the thing that is all over you and overwhelming, you can't do anything more, if that is your limit, if you tell yourself that that's your limit, then that's all you're capable of. Then you can't grow beyond it. I think you can grow beyond it. I think that thing that feels so overwhelming is just a warm-up compared to what you are capable of. And so tell yourself, this struggle that I'm facing right now, this is just a warm-up for what I'm capable of. This thing will not define me. I am capable of so much more. And it's a little trigger, and what it does for you is put you in a state of resourcefulness instead of resourcelessness. When you feel overwhelmed and everything is out of control, you feel hopeless. You don't know what to do. But as soon as you say, this is just a warm-up, I am capable of more, it puts you in a resourceful state. And that allows you to solve the problem. And that allows you to stretch and grow, and now you're capable of doing a lot more. So tell yourself, the next time you feel overwhelmed, this is just a warm-up of what I am capable of. And then step number 3 is celebrate. Celebrate. When you do something difficult, pat yourself on the back, celebrate. Take it in. That emotional high from doing something difficult, even if you don't win at it, just the fact that you did it, that you tried, that if your fear is to make a video in public, that you go off and you make a video in public, even if you went out on the street corner and you vomited all over the floor and that was your video, I'm pumped for you because you tried it. Because if you keep getting back up and being proud of your effort and then celebrating it, you'll eventually crush it. Don't expect to be great the first time out. And that's where most of us are hard on ourselves. We're too hard on ourselves. That you expect to be great the first time out, and then when you aren't, you stop. Well, I tried it, I wasn't very good. No, you did the hard thing. And if you keep doing the hard thing, you will actually get better and you will eventually get results. And so you need to celebrate it. And this is probably something I don't do enough, to be honest. I don't celebrate outwardly enough. But it's more the inner dialogue for myself that I want to be proud of myself. I want you to be proud of yourself.
Rule number 5, the last one before our very special bonus clip, eject negative voices.
You have allowed too many negative voices into your head and they're preventing you from achieving your dreams. Maybe it's your friends, your parents, your community, the people around you, or worst of all, maybe it's yourself. You cannot do great things with those negative voices inside your head. You need to eject them immediately. And this video will show you how. So I have a term for those negative voices. I call it the little man. The little man is either the voice inside your head or the people around you telling you all the reasons why you're not going to win. All the reasons why this project, this idea, this dream of yours is not going to happen. It's never going to happen. Not a million years is that going to happen, right? We all have people in our life who tell us that, or also us telling ourselves. And the idea for little man came from the very first video that popped on my channel. There was a video called Believe that I loved. And it was when I just discovered my one word, which is believe. I just found out what it was, and I wanted to make kind of a tribute video to that concept on my YouTube channel. And I made this video that was 6.5 minutes long or so, and I showed it to somebody who was in the entertainment industry, and I asked him to take a look at it, and he just destroyed it. He said, this video is way too long, 6.5 minutes. Nobody's gonna watch it. I didn't understand how the internet worked. all all sorts of comments about how bad this video was. And to be honest, a younger version of Evan might have listened to him and tried to cut it down and make it fit within the box that he wanted it to be inside. And for whatever reason, I just had a little more strength and confidence and said, you know what? Maybe he doesn't like it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna post it anyway. I like it. It inspired me, and if it inspired me, maybe it's gonna inspire other people too. So we posted it. And at the time, my best video had 100,000 views. It took a year to get that video to 100,000 views. This video went live and in a month had 100,000 views. In the first month had 100,000 views. And now sits around, I think, 2 million views on the channel. And so it quickly became my best video. Now it's not my best video, but at the time it was the first video to, pop after a month. Like, this is crazy, it's taking off. And I thought, man, what if I listened to the little man? What if I listen to him? I came up with the name Little Man because it's something that he often jokes about. So he calls other people the little man. And so I was like, okay, well, he's the little man. What if I listened to him? I would have never done that video. I would have never built the channel. I would have been in a totally different place, a much smaller place, a much more negative place, a much more self-defeating place, because I was trying to, fit into his box. And so, I'm grateful that I had the courage at the time, at least, to trust my gut and go with it. But it's this constant battle that we face. It is the voice inside our head telling us that we're not good enough. It's the people around us telling us that we're never going to make it, sometimes out of love and sometimes out of insecurity. And it's why I think everybody has Michael Jordan level talent at something. Like, you could be the greatest. It's why belief is the #1 problem in the world. Lack of belief is the #1 problem in the world. Everything else is solvable. Believing that you could be the Michael Jordan of something, that you have the ability to be the greatest in the world at something, that belief, like really feeling that you could be the greatest in the world at something. How would your life change? How would your actions change? How would it change what you do today, right? You're watching this espresso in the morning. How does your life today change if you actually believe that you had Michael Jordan level talent at something? That's what I'm trying to do. And it starts with you kicking out the negativity in your head. So what's the 3-step process to eliminate negativity from your life and start building your dream? Here we go. Step number 1 is pay attention to your energy. So pay attention to the people that you're around, the media you're consuming, what are you doing on a daily basis, and pay attention carefully to what gives you energy and what sucks your energy. Most things will suck your energy. Most people will suck your energy. Most media consumption will suck your energy, right? Hopefully not this video. Hopefully this video, we're pumping up the energy. But if it's sucking your energy, stop watching. Go do something else, right? So we start by doing an audit. You start by looking at all the people around you and what you're consuming and where you're spending your time, and then you start scoring it. You see, like, where am I losing the most energy? Who are the people that when I leave a meeting with them or I leave hanging out with them, I feel tired. I feel like I need to go nap. I feel like I need a shower, right? And there's other people that when you leave meeting with them, you feel amazing. You feel more fired up. You feel ready to go. You feel bold and courageous and powerful and want to take on the world, right? We don't have enough of those people in our lives, most people. So make a list of who are the worst offenders, right? Just do that self-audit to go through who you're hanging out with on any kind of consistent basis and who are the worst offenders in terms of leaving you in a more negative spot than when you came in. Step number 2 is eliminate or restrict access. So some people, if they're really negative and they make you feel worse about yourself, stop hanging out with them, right? Some people you can just do that. Just because you happen to be their friend in kindergarten doesn't mean that you should still be their friend, right? Like, people grow. A lot of us are in friendships out of convenience just because it's always been, but you've grown a lot in the past 5 years or 10 years. Just because you were friends with them before doesn't mean that you still need to be friends now. It doesn't mean you're disrespectful. It doesn't mean that you yell at them or hate them or anything. Just you stop spending time with them, right? Those negative people in your life. You've grown beyond them, and now they're sapping your energy, preventing you from getting to where you need to be. Now, what do you do when they're your family? This is a tougher spot. If it's your parents, as an example, that's usually the classic. 1, some people do cut off their parents. That's an extreme step. If you're getting no love, no consideration, no respect, maybe that's a bold step that you need to make. But otherwise, you just cut off access to certain topics. You know that when you talk about X, when you talk about your career or your business, it always leads to a fight. This is where you need to become the adult in the relationship. It's a really hard leap for a lot of people to make. Right? Your parents are used to being parents and they're adults, but they're acting like kids. You need to step up and be the bigger person now. You need to be the adult in this relationship.
and cut off access to topic. I'm not talking to you about this because every time we do, we get into a fight. So let's talk about something else, whether that's the rest of the family, the new dog, the weather, the sports team, whatever. Like whatever, there's enough of a connection between you and your parents that you can still talk about without having to talk about this thing that you know is going to be a bomb every time. And you decide and you lay down the law. Like, this is not we are not talking about this. You have to own the relationship and take responsibility. You're an adult now. They're not parenting you anymore. Right? And most people don't have the confidence to step into that role, but you need to if you want to have a happy relationship with them and also self-love for yourself. So you either eliminate the negative people or you cut off access, either with frequency with time or to certain topics that you're not going to talk about with these people anymore because it only leads to negativity and stress. And then step number 3 is fill the void with boldness. Now that you're not spending time with negative people and you're not consuming negative content online and in books and podcasts or anywhere else, you fill it with positivity, with boldness. Like not just happiness, but boldness. What makes you feel bold? If it's these videos, then hey, I got videos every day for you. If it's a 254, then open the 254 every day. If it's learning from Joe Rogan, he's got a podcast too. Go check it out. Whoever it is, if it's books, podcasts, YouTube channels, right? Whatever the thing is that makes you feel bold, powerful, confident, alive, that makes you feel like you could do anything. Inject that into your daily routine.
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you watch a video and you just get motivated, the sign says you have a 35% chance of actually following through. That's not good enough, Believe Nation. We got to take action. But when you get motivated and then you create a specific plan of action for when and how you're going to do it, your number jumps from 35% to 91% chance of following through. And when you commit to somebody else, like posting down here in the comments below, that number jumps to 95%. I want to know your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week. Put it down in the comments below so you can follow through and I can celebrate you.
The problem is you're not proud of yourself. You might post about some accomplishment you've done on Facebook or Instagram, but when it's you, by yourself, all alone, deep down, you're not actually proud of yourself. So why? Where does that come from? It's because you've taught yourself that you set goals and you don't consistently follow through. So now when you set a new goal for yourself, you don't believe that you're actually going to follow through. And that continues to cycle on and spirals down into you not being proud of yourself. We need to change that today. So it starts with this. When you set a goal, you have to follow through. The only acceptable reason for not following through is you being proud of yourself. Are you proud of the reason why you didn't follow through? So a couple examples. When I started my tour, the very first stop, the pre-tour stop was Boston. I had a goal at that time that I was going to run 30 minutes of cardio every day. We drove to Boston. I drove the whole way, didn't sleep a wink, got in at 2 a.m. I hadn't done my cardio. What do I need to do? I need to do my cardio. Why? Because I told myself I committed to doing 30 minutes of cardio every single day. The cardio was the worst cardio of all time. Barely moving, right? Just kind of half eyes closed, trying to struggle my way through the 30 minutes. Health-wise, I burnt 0 calories. It would have been better for me to go to sleep. Mentally though, for the mindset, I'm pumped. It's when it's hard and you do the thing that you actually build your self-respect, your self-pride, your self-love, your self-confidence. When it's easy and you win, you could post about it on Instagram, congratulations, but you don't feel great about yourself because it was easy. But when it's hard and you try, that's when you start building self-respect, self-accountability, self-pride. That's where it comes from. And so in Boston, I woke up the next day and I was tired and I had a sluggish, hard day trying to get through it, which was not great for my body. But mentally, I'm pumped, like I did the thing when it was difficult. If I just went to bed, I would have had to ask myself, am I proud of the reason why I'm not doing this? Other people would let me off the hook. I'm sure the people I went down with, Nina, my wife, Danny, my camera guy, would have said, it's okay, go to sleep. It's 2 a.m. You drove all this way. It's a strange day. It's not a typical day. You have every reason in the world not to do it. People will let you off the hook all the time because they don't hold themselves to high standards. And then they infect you with their lower standards. I would not have been proud of myself if I didn't do my run, even though the results sucked. It's the effort.
That's where the pride comes from.
If you want to learn more about stop procrastinating, you got an idea, you go. Check out the video next to me. I think you're gonna enjoy. Continue to believe. I will see you there.
What do I do tomorrow morning? Nothing. Like this thing was my life and now it's gone. You get an idea for anything, you go. But I went to my first class, sucked,